Madhurya-Kadambini, A Cloud Bank of Nectar by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. This book consists of Bhāvānuvāda, or translation revealing the author's intent, and Pīyūṣa-varṣiṇī-vṛtti, the commentary that showers nectar by Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Introduction to the Hindi edition. It brings me boundless joy that today, by the causeless mercy and inspiration of my most worshipful Guru Pad Padma, Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnupad, Ashtottar Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, we are presenting for his pleasure this edition of Madhurya Kadambini, a text written by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura, the highly exalted crown jewel of Sri Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava ācāryas. In this text, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura has presented, in faithful adherence to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, a beautiful deliberation on the sequence of sādhaka-bhakti, shraddha, bhajan kriya, anarth nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, and bhav or rati. Life history of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura took his divine birth in a family of Brahmanas from the Radiya community of the Nadia district in West Bengal. He was celebrated by the name Hari Vallabha and had two elder brothers, Ramabhadra and Raghunatha. During his childhood, he completed his study of grammar in the village of Devagrama. He then studied devotional scriptures at the home of his spiritual master in the Shaidabad village of Murshidabad district. While living in Shaidabad, he wrote Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu, Ujjwal Neelmani Kiran, and Bhagavatamrit Kana. Soon after, he renounced household life and went to Vrindavan, where he wrote many other books and commentaries. After the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis of Vraja, the current of unalloyed devotion, that is Śuddha-bhakti, continued to flow by the influence of 3 great personalities, Sri Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Sri Shyamanand Prabhu. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura is fourth in the line of disciplic succession, coming from Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur. A disciple of Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur, Śrīla Ganga Narayan Chakravarti Mahasaya, lived in Baluchara, Gambhila in the Murshidabad district. He had a daughter named Vishnupriya, but no sons, so he adopted a devotee named Shri Krishna Charan. Shri Krishna Charan was the youngest son of another disciple of Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur named Ramakrishna Bhattacharya, who was from the Varendra community of Brahmin families. Shri Krishna Charan's disciple was Sri Radharaman Chakravarti, the spiritual master of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. In Sārāth Darshini, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura's commentary on Śrīmad Bhagavatam, he has written the following verse at the beginning of Rasa Panchadhyay, the 5 chapters of the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, that describe Shri Krishna's rasa dance with the gopis. Shri Ram Krishna Ganga Charanan Natva Gurunru Premnaha Śrīla Narottam Nath Shri Gauranga Prabhum Naumi. Here, the name Sri Rama refers to Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura's spiritual master Sri Radha Raman. Krishna refers to his grand spiritual master Sri Krishna Charan. Ganga Charan refers to his great grand spiritual master Sri Ganga Charan. Narottam refers to his great grand spiritual master Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur, and the word Natha refers to Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur's spiritual master Sri Lokanatha Goswami. In this way, he offers obeisances to all those in his disciplic succession up to Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Refuting the opinions of the Atibadi Rūpa Kaviraja. Hemlata Thakurani was the learned Vaishnavi daughter of Srinivasacharya. Once, an estranged disciple of hers named Rūpa Kaviraja concocted his own doctrine, which opposed the philosophical conceptions of Gauḍīya Vaishnavism. He taught that the position of Acharya could only be occupied by one in the renounced order, never by a householder. Rūpa Kaviraja's aim was to completely disregard the necessity of following Vidhi Marga, the path of regulated devotional practice, and to propagate a so-called Raga Marga, the doctrine of spontaneous attraction that was undisciplined and disorderly. His new doctrine stated that one could abandon the practices of hearing and chanting and practice Rūpānuga Bhakti by remembrance alone. For this, Hemlata Thakurani ensured that Rūpa Kaviraja was expelled from the Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava community. Since that time, Gauḍīya Vaishnavas have known him as an Atibadi, a person from one of the 11 unauthorized Sahajya communities that concoct their own method of devotional service. Fortunately, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura was present at this time, and he refuted Rūpa Kaviraja's false conclusions in his Sārartha-darshini commentary on the third canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Śrīla Cakravartī proved unequivocally that qualified householder descendants of an Acharya may act as Acharya. He said that it is unlawful and contrary to the statements of scripture for unfit descendants of Acharya families to adopt the title Gosvāmī out of greed for disciples and wealth. Householder disciples in the line of Sri Nityanand Prabhu's son Veerabhadra and descendants of the rejected sons of Sri Advaita Acharya award and accept the title Gosvāmī, an action considered improper by Vaishnava Acaryas. Although Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura acted as an Acharya in order to instruct the foolish and unfit descendants of Acharya families of modern times, he personally never used the title Gosvāmī. Protecting the honor of the Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava Sampradaya through Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan. When Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura became very old, he spent most of his time in a semi-conscious state, deeply absorbed in bhajan. During that time, a debate broke out in Jaipur between Gauḍīya Vaishnavas and other Vaishnavas who supported the doctrine of Swakīya-vāda, or the Lord's pastimes of wedded love. The Vaishnavas from the antagonistic camp had led King Jaya Singh II of Jaipur to believe that the worship of Srimati Radhika with Sri Govinda Deva is not supported by the scriptures. Their contention was that Srimati Radhika's name is neither mentioned in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam nor in the Vishnu Purana, and that she was never married to Sri Krishna according to Vedic injunctions. The antagonistic Vaishnavas further objected that the Gauḍīya Vaishnavas did not belong to a recognized sampradaya or line of disciplic succession. From time immemorial, there have been 4 Vaishnava sampradayas. First, the Sri Sampradaya, disciplic succession headed by Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune. Number 2, the Brahma Sampradaya, the disciplic succession headed by Lord Brahma. Number 3, the Rudra Sampradaya, the disciplic succession headed by Lord Shiva. And the 4th, the Sanak or Kumara Sampradaya, the disciplic succession headed by Sanak Kumara, the eldest of the 4 sons of Brahma. In the age of Kali, the principal ācāryas of these 4 sampradayas are, respectively, first, Sri Ramanuja, second, Sri Madhva, third, Sri Vishnu Swami, and the 4th, Sri Nimbaditya. The antagonistic Vaishnavas said that Gauḍīya Vaishnavas were outside these 4 sampradayas and therefore without pure lineage. Further, they argued that because Gauḍīya Vaisṇavas did not have their own commentary on Brahma Sutra, also known as Vedanta Sutra, the philosophical treatise written by Vyasadeva, which consists of succinct aphorisms that embody the essential meaning of the Upanishads. They could not be regarded as a genuine Vaishnava sect belonging to any genuine disciplic succession. Mahārāja Jai Singh knew that the prominent Gauḍīya Vaisṇava-ācāryas of Vrindavana were followers of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, and he invited them to Jaipur to take up the challenge of the Sri Ramanuja Vaishnavas. Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura was very old at that time and fully absorbed in the transcendental bliss of bhajan. So, he sent his student Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan to address the Jaipur assembly. Gauḍīya Vaisṇava Vedantacharya Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan, the crown jewel of the assembly of learned scholars and the greatest among the exalted teachers of Vedanta, left for Jaipur, accompanied by Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura's disciple Sri Krishnadeva. The caste Goswamis had forgotten their own connection with the Madhva Sampradaya and disrespected the Gauḍīya Vaisṇava's doctrinal view, saying it has no connection with Vedanta. This caused considerable disturbance to the true Gauḍīya Vaisṇavas. Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan, however, used irrefutable logic combined with powerful scriptural evidence to prove the Gauḍīya Sampradaya to be a pure Vaishnava Sampradaya in the line of Sri Madhvacharya, called the Sri Brahma Madhva Gauḍīya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Śrīla Jiva Gosvāmī, Śrīla Kavi Karnapur, and other previous Ācāryas also accepted this as fact. The Gauḍīya Vaisṇavas accept Śrīmad Bhagavatam as the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. For this reason, no one in the Gauḍīya Vaishnava Sampradaya had written a separate commentary on Vedanta Sutra. The name of Srimati Radhika, the personification of the pleasure-giving potency Ahladini Shakti and the eternal beloved of Sri Krishna, is mentioned in various Puranas. Srimati Radhika is referred in a very concealed and mystical manner in various places throughout Śrīmad Bhagavatam, particularly the 10th canto in connection with descriptions of the Lord's Vrindavan pastimes. Only rasika and bhavuka devotees conversant with the conclusions of the scriptures can understand this confidential mystery. In the learned assembly in Jaipur, Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan refuted the arguments and doubts of the opposing party, and they were silenced by his presentation. He established that the Gauḍīya Vaisṇavas are in the disciplic succession of Sri Madhvacharya. Despite his victory, however, the contesting party did not accept the Gauḍīya Sampradaya to be of pure Vaishnava lineage, because the Gauḍiyas had no commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhushan therefore composed the famous Gauḍīya commentary Sri Govinda Bhashya. Once again, the worship of Sri Sri Radha Govind commenced in the temple of Sri Govinda Deva, and the validity of the Sri Brahma Madhva Gauḍīya Sampradaya was firmly established. It was only on the authority of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura that Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan composed Sri Govinda Bhashya and proved the connection of Gauḍīya Vaisṇavas with the Madhva Sampradaya. There is no scope for any doubt in this regard. The accomplishment of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura performed on behalf of the Sampradaya will remain inscribed in golden letters in the annals of Gauḍīya Vaishnavism. Attaining the meaning of the Kama Gayatri by the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura has described a special event in Mantrartha Deepika, a book personally compiled by him. Once, while studying and teaching Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he came upon a verse describing the meaning of the Kama Gayatri mantra. Kama Gayatri mantra rupa, hai Krishnera swarupa. Sardh 26 अक्षर तार होय, से अक्षर चंद्र होय, कृष्ण कौरी उदाय, त्रिजगत कैला काम माया, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 21.125. The Kama Gayatri is identical with Sri Krishna. In this king of mantras, there are 24.5 syllables, and each syllable is a full moon. This aggregate of moons causes the moon of Sri Krishna to rise and fills the three worlds with prema. This verse establishes that the Kama Gayatri is composed of 24.5 syllables. But despite deep deliberation, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura could not ascertain which syllable in the mantra was the half syllable. He scrutinized grammar books, Puranas, Tantras, scriptures dealing with drama and rhetoric, and other great texts. Among the vowel and consonant groups of Sri Harinama Amrita Vyakaran, the Sanskrit grammar methodology of Śrīla Jiva Gosvāmī, he found mention of only 50 letters. He also studied the arrangement of letters, that is, matraka, in texts such as Matrakansha, and in the Radhika Sahasranama Stotra, in the Brahmanaradiya Purana, he found that Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radhika is also called Panchshad Varna Rupini, one whose form is composed of 50 syllables. In all the literatures he studied, however, he found mention of only 50 vowels and consonants. There was no mention of any half syllable. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura's doubt increased. He wondered whether Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had made a mistake in his writing. Of course, this could not have been possible, as Śrīla Kaviraj is omniscient and therefore free from material defects such as falling into illusion or error. In the fragmented letter T, the final letter of the Kama Gayatri were taken as the half syllable. Then Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami would be guilty of the fault of disorder, for in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 21.126-128, he has given the following description. Sakhi hai Krishna Mukh Dvijiraj Raja, Krishna Vapu Singhasane, Vasiraj Shasane, Kare Sange Chandrere Samaja. Dui Gand Suchikkan, Jini Mani Sudarpan, Se Dui Purna Chandra Jani, Lalate Ashtami Indu, Tahate Chandan Bindu, Se Ek Purna Chandra Mani. Karanak Chandeer Haat, Vanshi Upar Kare Naat, Tar Geet Murlir Tan, Padnak Chandragan, Tale Kare Nartan, Nupurere Dhvani Yar Gana. In these lines, Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes Shri Krishna's face as the first full moon. His cheeks are two full moons. The dot of sandalwood on the upper portion of his forehead is the fourth full moon. And just below, this is the moon of the 8th day, Ashtami. In other words, a half moon. According to the description, the 5th syllable is a half syllable. Yet, if the fragmented T, the final letter in the Kama Gayatri mantra, is seen to be a half syllable, then the 5th syllable cannot be seen as such. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura was in a profound dilemma because he could not decipher the mysterious half syllable. He concluded that if the syllables would not reveal themselves, he would be unable to behold the worshipful deity of the mantra. He decided that if he could not obtain the audience of the revered deity of the mantra, it would be better to die. Thinking this way, he set out at night to the banks of Radha Kunda to give up his life. After the second division of the night had passed, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura fell into light sleep. At that time, the daughter of Vrishabhanu Mahārāja, Srimati Radhika, appeared before him. O Vishwanatha, O Harivallabha, she said affectionately, do not lament. What Krishnadas Kaviraja has written is the absolute truth. By my grace, he knows all the inner sentiments of my heart. Have no doubt about his statements. The Kama Gayatri is a mantra to worship my dearly beloved and me, and we become revealed to the devotees through the syllables of this mantra. no one can know us without my kindness. The half syllable is described in the book Varnagam Bhaswat. It was after consulting this text that Sri Krishnadas Kaviraja determined the actual identity of the Kama Gayatri. Study this book and broadcast its meaning for the benefit of all faithful people. When he heard this instruction from Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radhika herself, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura arose, calling out in the great lamentation, O Radha, O Radha. After regaining composure, he proceeded to carry out Srimati Radhika's order. According to Srimati Radhika's indication, the letter ya preceding we in the mantra is considered a half syllable, and all other syllables are full syllables or full moons. Thus, by Srimati Radhika's mercy, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura became acquainted with the deep meaning of the mantra. He attained the direct audience of his worshipful deity, and in his internal perfected spiritual body, Siddha Deha, he was able to participate in the Lord's eternal pastimes as his loving associate. He established the deity of Sri Gokulananda on the bank of Radhakunda, and while residing there, he experienced the sweetness or Madhurya of the eternal pastimes of Sri Vrindavana. It was at this time that he wrote his Sukh-Vardhini commentary on Śrīla Kavi Karnapur's Anand Vrindavan Champu and stated therein, Radha Parastira Kutira Vartinaha Praptavya Vrindavan Cakravartinaha Anand Champu Vivritti Pravartinaha Santo Gatir Me Sumha Nivartinaha. I, Cakravarti, completely leave aside all other things and only desire to attain Sri Vrindavana. Residing in a simple hut on the bank of Sri Radhakunda, the topmost place of Sri Radha's pastimes, I write this commentary on Anand Vrindavan Champu. In his old age, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura spent most of his time in either a fully internal state or in a semi-conscious state, deeply absorbed in bhajan. His principal disciple, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, took over the responsibility of teaching the scriptures. Re-establishing the doctrine of Parikya. When a slight decline in the influence of the six Goswamis in Sri Vrindavan took place, a controversy arose around the doctrine of wedded love, that is, Swakiyavada, versus the doctrine of paramour love, or Parkiyavada. To dispel misconceptions regarding Swakiyavada, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura wrote Rag Vartma Chandrika and Gopi Prema Mrita, both of which are replete with scriptural philosophical conclusions. Thereafter, in his Ananda Chandrika commentary on the verse Laghutvam Atra Yat Proktam of Ujjwal Nilmani 1.21, he showed that the theory of Swakiyavada was fallacious, and with scriptural evidence and irrefutable logic, he established the conception of Parikya. Further, in his Sararth Darshini commentary on Śrīmad Bhagavatam, he gave strong support to Parikya Bhava. Once, certain scholars opposed the conclusion of Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura on worship in the mood of Parikya. When he defeated them with superior erudition and sound reasoning, they resolved, out of envy, to kill him. They knew that Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura would circumambulate Sri Vrindavana early each morning, so they hid in a dark, dense grove and waited for him to walk by. As his adversaries watched him approach, he suddenly disappeared, and in his place, a beautiful young girl of Vraja appeared, picking flowers with her friends. The scholars asked the girl, "O Lali, young girl, just a moment ago, a great personality was coming this way. Where has he gone?" The girl replied, "I saw him, but I do not know where he has gone." The sight of her astonishing beauty, sidelong glances, graceful manner, and gentle smile captivated the assembly of scholars. All the impurities in their minds were removed, and their hearts melted. They asked the girl who she was, and she replied, I am a maidservant of my mistress, Srimati Radhika. She is presently in her in-laws' house at Yavat. She has sent me here to pick flowers." Having spoken thus, the girl disappeared, and in her place the scholars saw Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura once again. The scholars fell at his feet and prayed for forgiveness, and Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura forgave them all. There are many such astonishing occurrences in the life of Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura. In this way, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura refuted the theory of Svakīya-vāda and established the truth of pure Parkiya, an achievement of great import for the Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇavas. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura not only protected the integrity of the Śrī Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava Dharma, but he also re-established its influence in Śrī Vrindavana. Anyone who evaluates this accomplishment will be struck with wonder at his uncommon genius. Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava ācāryas have composed the following verse in praise of his extraordinary work. Vishvasya nath rūpo aso bhakti vartma pradarshanaat bhakta chakre vartitvat chakravartyakhya abhavat. He is known by the name Vishvanatha, Lord of the universe, because he indicates and illuminates the path of bhakti, and he is known as Cakravartī because he always remains within the assembly of pure devotees. Therefore, his name is Vishwanath Cakravartī. In about 1754 in Vrindavana, on the 5th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Magha, that is January-February, when Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura was approximately 100 years old, he left this material world, deeply absorbed in internal consciousness. His samadhi stands today next to the temple of Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda in Sri Dham, Vrindavana. The glories and legacy of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. Following in the footsteps of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura composed an abundance of transcendental literature on bhakti, thereby establishing in this world the innermost desire of Srimad Mahaprabhu's heart. He also refuted faulty Siddhanta opposing genuine rūpānuga conceptions and is thus revered in the Gauḍīya Vaishnava society as an illustrious ācārya and an authoritative, self-realized soul. He is renowned as a great transcendental philosopher, a poet, and a rasika devotee. The Vaishnava poet Krishnadas has written the following lines in the conclusion of his translation of Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura's Mādhurya-kādambini. Mādhurya-kādambinī grantha jagat kailo dhanya Cakravartī mukhe vakta apani Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura has blessed the whole world by writing Mādhurya-kādambini. In reality, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has spoken this work through the mouth of Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura. Keho kahen Cakravartī Shri Rūper avatar Kathina je tattva saral korite prachar. Some say Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura is an incarnation of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. He is expert in the art of describing complex truths in a way that is easy to understand. Ohe guna nidhi Shri Viśvanātha Cakravartī, ke janibo tomar guna mui mudhamati. O ocean of mercy, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura, I am a foolish person. So how can I understand your qualities? Therefore, kindly reveal your transcendental qualities within my heart. This is my prayer at your lotus feet. Few Gauḍīya Vaishnava ācāryas have written as many books as Śrīla Cakravartī Ṭhākura. The following adage regarding 3 of his books is popular among Vaishnavas to this day. Kiran Bindu Kana, Ei Tin Niye Vaishnav Pana. Having attained a proper understanding of these 3 books, Ujjwal Nilmani Kiran, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu, and Bhagavatamrit Kana, one can claim to be a Vaishnava. Below is a list of his books, commentaries, and prayers, which comprise a storehouse of incomparable wealth of Gauḍīya Vaishnava devotional literature. Vraj Riti Chintamani, Chamatkar Chandrika, Prem Samput, Khand Kavya, गीतावली, सुबोधिनी, अलंकार कौस्तुभ टीका, आनंद चंद्रिका, उज्ज्वल नीलमणि टीका, टीका on Sri Gopal Tapni, Savamrit Lahari, that is waves of nectarian prayers, which includes Shri Gaur Tattvashtak, Mantra Datra Gururashtak, Param Gururashtak, Paratpar Gururashtak, Param Paratpar Gururashtak, Shri Loknath Ashtak, Shri Satchidanand Ashtak, Shri Swarup Charitra Amrita, Shri Swapna Vilas Amrita, Shri Gopal Deva Ashtak, Shri Madan Mohan Ashtak, Shri Govind Ashtak, Shri Gopinath Ashtak, Shri Gokula Nanda Ashtak, Swayam Bhagavad Ashtak, Shri Radha Kunda Ashtak, Jagan Mohan Ashtak, Anurag Valli, Shri Vrinda Devya Ashtak, Shri Radhika Dhyan Amrita, Shri Rūpa Chintamani, Shri Nandishwar Ashtak, Shri Vrindavan Ashtak, Shri Govardhan Ashtak, Shri Sankalp Kalpadruma, Shri Nikunja Vrudavali, Virut Kavya, Laudatory Poetry, Surat Kathamrita, and Shri Shama Kunda Ashtak, Shri Krishna Bhavna Amrit Mahakavya, Bhagavatamrit Kana, Shri Ujjwal Neelmani Kiran, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu, Rag Vartma Chandrika, Aishwarya Kadambini, Mādhurya Kadambini, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Tika, Dan Kili Comedy Tika, Shri Lalita Madhav Natak Tika, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit Tika, Brahma Samhita Tika, Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita Sārarth Varshini Tika, and Śrīmad Bhagavatam Sārarth Darshini Tika. My most worshipful spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Ashtotarshad, Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, is the protector of the Gauḍīya Sampradaya and the founder Acharya of the Sri Gauḍīya Vedanta Samiti and the Gauḍīya Mathas under its jurisdiction. He is a lion-like spiritual preceptor who guides others by his own example, Ācārya Kesari. Apart from composing his books, he has republished in the Bengali language the books of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Ṭhākura and other previous Ācāryas. Today, by his hearty desire, encouragement and causeless mercy, the translation of books such as Jaiva Dharma, Shri Chaitanya Shiksha Amrit, Shri Shiksha Ashtak, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu, Ujjwal Neelmani Kiran, Bhagavatamrit Kana, Shri Geet Govind, Bhajan Rahasya, Gauḍīya Giti Guchha, Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita, Shri Venu Gita, Bhakti Tattva Vivek, Vaishnav Siddhanta Mala, Shri Brahma Samhita, Rag Vartma Chandrika, Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Gauḍīya Kanthahara, Shri Prema Samputa, and other important works have been and continue to be translated and printed in Hindi, the national language of India. I have complete faith that those who thirst for bhakti, especially those who are practitioners of raganuga bhakti and eager to attain Vrajarasa, will receive this book with great reverence, and that faithful people who study this book will attain the qualification to attain the wealth of prema of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Finally, may the condensed form of Bhagwan's compassion, my most worshipful Sri Śrīla Guru Pad Padma, shower his mercy upon me, so that I may attain even more of that service which fulfills his innermost desire. This is my humble prayer at his lotus feet, which bestow prema. Alam iti vistarena. Everything that needed to be said has now been said. Praying for a particle of the mercy of Sri Hari, Guru and the Vaishnavas. Humble and insignificant, Tridandi Bhikshu Sri Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa. The appearance day of Sri Madhvacharya, October 2nd, 2006, 5:20 Chaitanya Abdul.